and the 12-year-old version of you was still seeking validation, and the 15-year-old version for you is still trying to buy friends, right? That's why you can't budget. You don't want people to judge, right? You're still.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your boy Dondre Brown. I am back. I haven't shot a reaction video in a while, but I'm back to shoot more reaction videos to talk about finances. So we're going to jump in this video with Anthony O'Neill and Patrice Washington. She's also a financial guru that talks about how to grow wealth and how to make sure that you focus on mindset. So let's jump right in.
One more pillar. Yeah, I said fit. You know, the one I really feel led to, though, right now, it's not a different pillar. It's still in fit.
Okay.
It's being mentally fit. And I think this is so important for young people because we live in a time now where people you don't even know, right, will see you and be annoyed by your anointing. They will start rumors. They will talk mess. They will troll.
Yeah.
And sometimes we lean so deeply into that, Anthony, that it becomes a distraction to what God has actually called us to do.
Listen. So I started social media in 2018, a couple years ago. And what she said was dead on. I've learned so much through having social media. Anybody can say whatever they want anytime. And it's up to you to be able to filter out that information. Because what God has for you is for you. But with social media, anybody can send you anything, whether it's support or whether it's hate. So she's dead on with that. Keep going, Patrice.
That will help us build wealth.
Yeah.
And it is so important that your mind is just strong. For me, I grew up feeling very, very ugly. I was the insecure friend, right? I had security in being smart and achievement, which is why I was an overachiever, right? Like I was like, I can prove that I deserve love if I go do these things because I always felt so insecure about what I looked like. And it wasn't until I was 22 years old and started therapy and dealt with some of my childhood trauma that I really started to, learn to forgive people who will never say I'm sorry. Many of us don't realize that we've had very traumatic.
Forgiving people, even though they may never say sorry, right? What Patricia is really talking about is how can you strengthen your mindset and overcome some of these distractions in which you can help continue to build wealth, right? She's talking about how she's been able to overcome these distractions. We don't talk enough about therapy, especially in our Black community, right? Counseling, things like that. Things that can help strengthen our mind, body, and soul. So, again, Patricia, she's dropping some really good jewels. Make sure that y'all taking notes, man.
Upbringings, what we have.
Yeah.
And we don't realize how not healing some of those things impact the decisions that we make today because we're still trying to prove that we're worthy. So we buying stuff we don't need. We're driving cars we can't really afford.
Come on now.
We're living in houses, or we're seeking and searching and climbing and going through all this stress and strife for
keeping up with the Joneses. That's what we're trying to do. We are trying to compete with a lifestyle that may not be realistic. It was just something that we was always chasing to fulfill a gap or a hole that we didn't have. Right? So if you grew up not having a lot or feeling like you didn't have a lot, once you grow up, you're like, look, I need to show all this stuff to people. I need to buy all these things. Like, these things are real. She is dead on when she's talking about, like, really thinking about how you were raised and conditioned and some of the trauma that you have gone through because it impacts your decision. Right? I tell people all the time, like, your emotions can impact your money. So you have to become more emotionally stable, more emotionally intelligent, because it's going to impact your money. Let's go, Patricia.
Things because we're looking for validation that doesn't come from stuff, it comes from us. And I had to go through years of therapy. I was 25 before I could look in the mirror and not cringe. I was 25 years old before I could look in the mirror and not wish that I looked like somebody else and critiqued my face and everything about me. And I say that because when I fast forward and I look at my life and what I've been able to do today, right? When I look at standing on stages in front of thousands of people and national television and my book, my face on what will become 5 books very soon here, I realized that had I not healed my childhood trauma, there would be no way for me to have the confidence to do the things that I would need to do to build wealth. And the truth is, no matter what you're doing career-wise, money-wise, it's only going to grow to the extent that you're willing to heal. If you keep spiraling in circles because in the back of your mind, you still listening to what so-and-so said, and the 12-year-old version of you was still seeking validation, and the 15-year-old version for you is still trying to buy friends, right? That's why you can't budget. You don't want people to judge, right? You're still worried about protecting images and all this. You will never be able to do the things with finances, entrepreneurship, and business, your career, that you are actually capable of.
So what she is saying is really spot on when you're thinking about building self-esteem and confidence, right? Some of us, I wouldn't even say some of us, I believe many of us lack confidence in our decision making because we're always looking for validation from people, right? And then the interesting part is we always look for validation for people that we believe, care, value, etc. But at the end of the day, they probably hate and are jealous. Right, so when they're spitting that information back at us, it's really playing with our psyche and our decision making, and we got to learn to overcome that. She on
until you deal with some of that trauma.
You know, never shared it on this show. I've shared it on the Dave Ramsey show. I think maybe about like a few weeks ago. But what you're hitting on is so right. My never again moment was when I got tired of being insecure of myself. I was in Oceanside, California. And Southern Cat, well, just like you. And, you know, I'm going to share my age, too. Back in the days when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, back then we had the spinners on our cars. You know, when we stopped, the wheels kept spinning and spinning and spinning. And on this one particular day, me and one of my good friends was out there at the beach. And at that time, we used to always go to the beach, like on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and just chill out there and just, you know, friends would pull up. Well, this guy... We'll pull up, and I had a car. I was driving a 1987 Nissan Maxima, couldn't even go in reverse, and it had spinners on it. The wheels was worth more than my car. I had 212s on the back of it with 1,000-watt amp. That the system was worth more than my car. But I was insecure in myself because I couldn't look in the mirror at myself neither. And I said, well, if I'm gonna pull a young lady at the time, I need to look like I got it. I need to, because my looks won't pull her, but maybe what I have will. And sitting at the beach, and my boy was in the car, and all my boys just pull up. I know a lot of them, and pulling up in Range Rovers, pulling up in Mercedes-Benz S-Classes, and got these spinners on the car, and music sounds good, and getting out of the car with their ladies. And Patrice, I know all of them. Not one of them actually had their own apartment, but all of them were driving these expensive, nice cars. And I'm like, man, we're all faking it. For what? And I was like, I'm tired of this life. I'm tired of faking something that I'm not just to impress someone who probably ain't going to rock with me and she doesn't even like me. And not just her, but even the guys. Like, I'm tired of having to force myself in this lifestyle.
So how many people is living like that right now? Right? How many people is tired of rocking the jewelry, tired of buying the perceivable expensive cars, buying the rims? Like, how many people is tired of living that lifestyle, right? If you are and you're brave enough, comment, put it in the comments, right? Because what they're getting at is a decision that they chose to make, which is now going to lead to them taking that money, taking that confidence, that emotional intelligence, and started to generate, you know, wealth building pathways and strategies, and doing something that's going to be generational, right? But first you have to get tired of it. And I love the fact that AO, he's willing to explain and talk about some of his situations. Me growing up, I didn't have a car where anything spent. If anything, I had a bus pass and I used that baby to death, but I didn't really lean on spinners and everything. Now I looked at people like peers and like family members that bought that stuff and wish that I could have those things. But once I got money, I never really purchased those things. I purchased something else, but that's it's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that soon.
Because I was taught, look wealthy. I was taught, look rich. I was taught, have the nice stuff. I wasn't taught, your pillars. I wasn't taught to get your mind right. And then I had to go through therapy as well. And honestly, still to today, I go through therapy. This would be real. And so what you're teaching, I want to say thank you.
Wow, so that video was dope. I love the fact that for her, she's talking about a pillar to wealth being the mindset. How do you focus on the mindset? How do you go back and heal past traumas? How do you build confidence and self-esteem? But if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, leave some comments at the bottom, and look forward to my next videos. Peace.